In this video, guys, we're going to ask the question, would you let an algo trade for you while you were at work? Stay tuned. Hey traders, warm welcome to you. So question is this, would you let an algo trade for you while you were at work? And my response to that is yeah. Why not? If you're at work, you're doing something else, why would you not let an algo trade for you? But let's look at both sides of the coin before we go diving in and start putting in hundreds of thousands of pounds into an algo to trade for us. So there's a couple of things to look at here. One is the risk factor. Now, we have to assume that the algo has been programmed by a professional. It's not you reading a book, you've thrown an algo together, you've connected it up to your Interactive Brokers account or whatever, you've got a couple of $100 in there and you're letting it trade away. That I wouldn't necessarily advise. So we have to make sure the number one thing, guys, is the risk is capped, right? i.e. the algo is not going to go crazy under a variety of different circumstances and lose more than we want it to lose. That could be on a per trade basis, and that could be on an account level as well. I think you guys have heard the story. If you've been a subscriber, you know that I've talked about the story about the algo that somebody wrote and it lost all their money. Like, well, how could it do that? Because it just got into an infinite loop. It was buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling, and the money was lost in the spread. It just basically kept going until it wiped out or until the margin wasn't enough for the trade. So pretty much wiped out the account. And that was not necessarily the trade going wrong. It was the algo going rogue and just buying and selling, of course, for getting hammered by the spread and commissions. So that's not so great. However, if we look at per trade and account level, so as long as you are 100% sure that each trade it takes, as the risk is going to be limited, it can deal with unusual circumstances. There's everything is kind of capped off in terms of losing connection, in terms of sending orders through. There's a fail-safe, a fallback, a redundancy. You know, not just the normal risk parameters in your stock, but ensuring that that is the case. And on an account level, and on a day level, and on all the levels possible, multiple fails, multiple kind of safety nets, if you like, to ensure that you're not losing money. So you've got that, hey, per day, I don't want you to miss this much amount when my account balance falls below this, do this. And I know that lots of kind of algos, if you kind of taking stuff off the shelf, i.e. trading it and coding it a bit, have that in there to say, hey, this is the max loss. But still ensuring that works. And then on an account level as well, so per day and on the account level. So if you can assume that you've ticked that off, then I would suggest, why not? And what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. Because in actual fact, guys, a trade is a trade. It's as risky as the next trade. Yes, we can talk about different probabilities of success with certain setups, etc., risk-reward ratio and all that kind of stuff. But if we just boil it down to a certain point, you're risking X to hopefully make X times X, or whatever it is, 3X, 4X. And so you're actually, doesn't matter whether you're there in front of the screen or not. And you could argue that actually an algo trading for you would be better if you are emotional and you struggle to control emotions in the trade, or you don't pull the trigger. And of course, if you're at work, you're running a business, you're doing other things, then it's something you couldn't be trading anyway. And so having the algo trade for you would work. Now, it comes back to the more serious question of, is there an algo that could day trade the market successfully for a longer period of time? Now, this is where it gets a little bit grey area for me, is that I think you would have to put in the same amount of work to tweak and adjust the algo regularly, a day trading algo, than you would actually trading it. So, okay, of course, if you're, let's say you are at work, or someone who's got a job and you 9 to 5, whatever it may be, and you can't trade, then of course you can work in the evening on the algo trading during the day. However, because the types of markets are so dynamic and so fluid, I think the sweet spot is probably to have an algo look for 1 or 2 very specific setups in the trading day, and maybe not trade a couple of days in a row, but look for something very specific and execute with that specificity rather than something that's constantly churning away over all throughout the day. I think that is also dangerous from a risk perspective. If it gets it wrong, you could get hammered on that. And I also think that a couple of days of losing, you'll give up on that. Whereas if you have something that's very specifically looking for one, maybe two setups during the trading day across a couple of markets, maximum, really, like I say, bringing the boundaries in, then I think it's a good idea. I think if you have the skill, or you have somebody you can hire to build that for you and put your thesis, your trade setup onto paper and then into an actual algo that caps the risk, then why not? But of course, this is a slightly different scenario, because you've still got to do the work in the evening to see how the conditions will change and how you want to adapt the algo. Because, the beauty, if you like, of sitting in front of the screen and watching the trade is that you can see the type of market develop. Now, you may not be able to do anything about that there and then and adjust the trade there and then, but it will start to give you an idea of, hey, I think I want to adjust it later on because actually we tend to make a high at this time of the day, or we tend to stretch a little bit further under these conditions, or when we take out a low, we tend to fake out first. You start to notice these patterns that, unless you've got a kind of a really complex algo that's AI almost, and that's overused a bit, that's that terminology, but that's learning and giving you that feedback, you've still got to learn, and for the next iteration of the algo, and how it can adjust for basic market sentiment and market conditions. Let's say a standard algo that's a mean reverting algo. You've got various parameters when it doesn't get involved, various parameters when it does get involved. You're still going to have to put the hours in the evening or weekends to say, okay, well, I've noticed that over those last 5 days, this was slightly different to that. Let me add and tweak and adjust it and what have you. But other than that, I think, why not? I don't think there's much difference for you sitting in front of the screen in terms of risk reward, as long as you've got it programmed. The beauty of it, of course, is it eliminates any error from you. An algo is never going to make an error other than you programming an error into it, which is why you've got to be very careful. It's not going to make an emotional decision, which is a bonus. And so, yeah, why not do it? Now, another thing is have a hybrid model. So you can have an algo that fires up a signal for you, fires up something that alert that then you can come to the screen, you can look at it, you can consider it and take a trade. Now, that's not going to work on a very low time frame, of course, because the trade opportunity is going to be gone, but it might work on a slightly higher time frame, 15-minute chart, something like that. You've got 15 minutes to come, check it out, say, yeah, I like it, the algo's done a good job there bringing an idea to the forefront, alerted me, come around, place a trade, adjust, adapt, make a dynamic selection of the stop loss based on what I'm seeing in front of me, dynamic selection of the exit based on what I'm seeing in front of me, and use like a hybrid model. But anyway, that's the first question. Would you let an algo trade for you while you were at work? Let me know in the comment section below, and see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.